Council meetings are long and boring. Wouldn't it be great if they were short and unboring? This is why I have invented the 5. Make it 10! Or make it more than 10! Minute meeting! All right, Ashland City Council meeting of December 19th. This one screwed up the land acknowledgement. Who could do that? He did. This one did not screw up the Pledge of Allegiance. And this one said, hey, solar panels are up. And the transportation survey is on the website. Good luck finding that. And the James Ragland volunteer nominees are being taken. And then a public forum, pesky homeowner in a blue plaid. He says, hey, and maybe he got into a crash with the city's new ambulance? But he also said a new homeless shelter is a problem, and 5G people are a problem. And Whitney Houston said it right. Children are the future. And then a lady with a face said city hiring practices are wrong. Positions are being filled from within without a public process. That feels true. And then a half-shaved head lady said, here's a poem, why you should ask for a ceasefire in Gaza. And a big scarf lady said, I also think you should write a ceasefire letter. And Ashland City Council has so much power in Gaza. Okay, a brown vest guy said, my father died in Auschwitz, and I am asking Ashland to write a letter to our federal representatives asking them for aid and a ceasefire in Gaza. And then the consent agenda. Everything but number 3 was approved. And this one goes, hey, number 3, how does this grant work? And Brandon Goldman, he's a planning king of the planning department. He goes, oh, the state awarded a $60,000 grant for an economic analyzer to tell us scope of work, buildable lands inventory, comprehensive plan support documents. He clarified nothing. And so, of course, this one said, great work. This is such great work. All approved. And then a closure time ordinance. Interim Parks Director Leslie Eldridge. That's the icy grip of Rick Lant on her shoulder. Parks committee president or something. And then she goes, hey, right now Lithia Park is closed from 11:30 to 5:30, and we want all parks closed from midnight to 5 because of all the vandalism recently. People can always walk through transit through the parks at all times, but we want these two things. These new hours. And then this guy goes, hey, how do we know if this is working? And Police Chief Ty O'Mara, he looks something like that. He goes, hey, we have some good stats. We will know this, the answer in 6 to 12 months. And this guy goes, how does the new camping ordinance fit in with this? And Leslie Eldridge, the interim parks director, said, if the city doesn't have spots in the night lawn, homeless can camp in the parks. All approved. And then beer in the parks ordinance. This is the second reading. Leslie Eldridge, Parks Director here. That's Rick Lant's icy grip on her shoulder, controlling her. He says, Parks tweaks some location rules and security things, so this ordinance is good to go. And that was all approved. So events in the park can apply for beer and wine permits. That seems fun. And parking code change, second reading. Brandon Goldman right here, he's the planning department king. He says, hey, the proposed ordinance complies with the new state law saying there are no parking requirements for any building. And this guy goes, just to be clear, any building owner who had to provide parking for renters or employees can now take their parking spots back and rent them separately. And this guy goes, well, that's technically legally true. And he goes, shout out to businesses. Make your renters or employees pay for parking. All approved. He was wildly for this. It was weird. And then, the homeless camping ordinance, the second reading. All right. The old city attorney, Doug McGarry, said, we changed 2 sections. Changed it from person to property. So you can't leave tents up even if you're not there. You can leave property, can't leave property, and recreation is different than camping. And this one says, where's he go? Oh, there he is. He goes, hey, He says, doesn't this make it illegal for all the night lawn people to move to the sidewalk lawn every morning? And Chief Diamera goes, yeah, well, he goes, hey, yeah, it was illegal before, and it would be illegal after, but we don't and won't enforce it. It's the best option in a bad situation. And then this one goes, where'd she go? She goes, hey, she says, hey, this doesn't keep the city manager from designating places for day camping. So the city manager's got a lot more power, apparently. And then this guy goes, hey, he goes, what if we asked the housing committee to chime in and we made a new magic map of places where the homeless can camp? And the new city attorney, where is she? The new city attorney, Camille. Oh, here she is. Gosh darn it. She says, Carmel Zaron, and this is her wishing that she didn't take this job. She said, well, that's an area for the city manager. So the city manager apparently is in charge of a lot of stuff. Oh, and so public forum on this, Red Cap lady said, well, we evolved as a human species, and shutting down Pioneer Hall is BS. And this one she goes, oh, hey, don't talk about Pioneer Hall. Stop it. And then a old white dreadlock guy said, I'm going to read you song titles. The cold weather shelter is a problem. She goes, don't talk about the cold weather shelter. Stop it. And then a two gray braids lady, she's there a lot. She goes, this targets the homeless population. We have no storage. And glasses on the head lady, she's a South Ashland lady. She's the boss of them. And she says, let's pass this ordinance and just keep working. And then this guy goes, hey, I moved to postpone. Legal and police made this ordinance without input from the homeless, and the housing committee should have input. And this guy goes, there he goes. But there he is. Oh, jeez, he got way over here. He goes, hey, I agree. Not enough input. And this guy goes, nope, this should not happen. You should not postpone anything. And this guy goes, don't postpone. And this one also says, do not postpone. She says, let's move forward. And so 4-2, these two said postpone, just so we're aware. These two said postpone this vote, and the other four said, no, let's not postpone the vote. And so it didn't get postponed. And so this guy goes, he goes, all right, so I'm all, here's the deal. I move to approve the camping ordinance the second reading. And this guy says, although I won't support this, I want people to know that I didn't understand the vote last meeting, and despite the minutes, I support South Ashland. Okay. And then this one says, this is the wrong approach. And this one says, all right, I call the question. And this one says, I don't know what that means. And this one says, so that means no more debate. We just have to vote now. And he goes, I don't like that, so no to calling the question. Everyone else says yes to calling the question. So the question was called, and so a vote was made, and it passed 4-2. The camping ordinance was approved. And then this one says, hey, clarification of review from the last meeting. And this one says, I asked for housing to review this camping ordinance last meeting over the next 6 months, and I am rescinding that. AKA, the housing committee wanted nothing to do with her recommendation that they review it. And wait a minute. Oh, was that the end? No, she continued to talk. And she talked for a long while, and she goes, hey, any questions for her about this motion to talk about the camping ordinance and having the housing committee do it? And she goes, oh, I have a question for me. Blah 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 blah. Oh, it was an exceptional level of worthless nonsense. And she said, we're going to work together to fix the housing shortage and houselessness somehow in the next 6 months. And that was all approved. And then city manager Sabrina Cotta, she looks like this. She goes, I'm putting 2 things on the spring ballot initiative. 1, the police chief doesn't have to come to every council meeting. And 2, the city recorder is no longer elected but appointed by me. So that's going on the ballot. And this one says, this guy goes, hey, what has changed over the years for the recorder that should be not elected, but you should appoint it? And this one goes, they used to be like a finance director and have a lot of duties, but now they do public record requests and document searches and liquor licenses. So they should be a hired professional appointed by me. And there was no vote. There was just like the mayor. She just goes, yeah, like, so you understand what to do, right? Yeah, okay, but I'm going to do it. And then audio video upgrades. Interim city manager Sabrina Cotta says, we have a new vendor to upgrade our equipment. Even though we picked a vendor on May 2nd for $66,000, we decided we should switch vendors to Key Code Media instead for $118,000. And that was so this one says, she goes, the state requires remote and Zoom accessibility, and the price tag for this, is too much. So they've done nothing for 7 months except find a new vendor that costs twice as much. Oh, God. Approved 5-1. And then this one says, support letter for Pam Marsh to ask for more prison addiction services. I drafted this letter, and that was all approved. And then she says, I drafted another letter of support, which I drafted for the League of Oregon Cities. I have 11 recommendations to change Measure 110. I reached out to sheriffs, the sheriff and the chief and important people, and I prioritized treatment over recriminalization of hard drugs, blah, 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 blah. And then this guy jumps in and goes, hey, oh no, he did not like this. He goes, treatment, yes. Making drugs illegal, no. And this guy goes, I don't feel like an expert, of course. So I'm just supporting this. But I do support legalization of heroin? Unclear. 5 to, who didn't like that? Oh, yeah, he goes like, I didn't like 3 of the 11 things, so no. 5-1. And then this one says, she goes, hey, it's not enough time to talk about lowering the temperature that we opened the cold weather emergency shelter from 32 degrees to 25 degrees. Also, no time to talk about lowering the amount of coal Bob Cratchit gets to keep his office warm. So let's just let the public forum people vent. And a man in glasses said, don't lower the temperature from 32 degrees to 25 degrees before we open the cold weather shelter. This idea came out of nowhere. And a lady in glasses says, I'm going to spend time outside in the cold in the plaza in solidarity with the homeless. I invite you to join me. And a lady in a scarf said, 32 degrees was already low. I can't believe you're even thinking of 25 degrees before you will open a cold weather shelter. And a street nursing team lady said, lots of people are losing fingers and toes. Even 50 degrees is dangerous in wind and rain. You all talked a lot tonight about caring and compassion for the houseless. And just bringing this idea up for a vote shows the opposite. That's true. And then the 2 gray pigtails lady said, you're only doing this to save money at the expense of the lives you claim to care about. Yeah. Outstanding at a meeting, you're welcome.